questions so far on Wine, BMW Foundation?
Yeah, it's a bit more of an ideological question again. We're talking about social entrepreneurship and trying to define it a little bit, or at least not, or sometimes try not to define it. We're talking about, do we really have an impact, and how the funding has an impact on a profit, not for profit. We want to have a sustainable business, whether it's social or not, and it's going to merge maybe over the next 10 years. How do you, and I'm trying to see how I fit in there personally, and with my idealistic approach, how can it be that, or how do you make it for yourself, working for BMW Foundation, which has the name BMW on it, which is a classic blue chip company, which has maybe created a lot of the problems that social entrepreneurs wanted to change, from clean energy to equal opportunities in the company with same salaries and not exploit people in third world countries. How does that fit in with you? Maybe just a personal statement there, or...
I'll try to get what I think you're asking at. I mean, you know, the irony these days is you look at the Rockefeller Foundation, which is, you know, and the Rockefellers themselves are doing some of the best work in the world at making the world a better place, and they're oil tycoons, right? I mean, their ancestors made money as they're probably rolling in their graves looking, I mean, maybe not that, but they're oil tycoons. When I was working in the biogas industry, I looked at this and I said, each one of our plants can divert 100,000 tons of organic waste per year from landfill and these sources. We'll take the equivalent of 16,000 cars off the road in terms of CO2 emissions avoided. But what else are we doing? You know, our private equity company's portfolio has a lot of coal plants, so we're supporting, you know, a company that, and making profit for a company that invests in coal, right? We're helping to make the factory farming system more efficient and more environmentally friendly, which makes them more profitable as well. We're solving a problem for them. So on the one hand, that's great because we're, you know, getting this stuff out of there. On the other hand, I'm helping a system that I don't believe in, you know. And so, I mean, the reality is, I think anytime you're doing something, you're in the muck. You're in this stuff, you know. All money is dirty by definition, wherever it comes from, and it's what you can do with this stuff, you know, like, and what kind of changes you can make that I think really matters in the end.
So I'm taking up that, your comment on the dirty money. I think it was Mohammed Yunus who said that, or he was suggesting that the social enterprise field, that would need a separate capital market to finance social businesses, because to avoid that you get the dirty money to finance green or social activity. So do you think that they're in the impact financing market, there things going to change, maybe that we're going to really see a separate investment market where really only green money circulates?
But there's, I mean, that money all comes from, like, that money that's green money now comes from oil companies, from that, like, there's, I think we have to also be open to this change, that, you know, that we are trying to make kind of the world a better place, wherever this kind of comes from. And, you know, for me, what I find very interesting is, how do we get corporate investors to say, okay, I want to, instead of just looking at financial return, now I want to look at kind of the, you know, environmental, social, governance aspects of this as well. I think what we have to do is shift it. The major thing that's going to happen, of course, that's really going to shift this is as climate change gets worse, and this is going to be the economy.
Is there an alternative to money?
That's beyond my pay grade, that question.
I have also a question about the innovational part of the impact. I mean, creating a social impact is a high innovative challenge, of course. So compared to Canada, for example, Germany has a very well situated welfare system, and also it's very high regulated when it comes to, you know, healthcare, to the working market, to everything. So question to you, as someone who observes the field for a couple of years, where are in Germany the potential fields of really having an impact as a social entrepreneur? Especially since I deeply believe that to solve a problem, you have to know the problem very, very well. So
Yeah, I mean,
what are the 3-4 fields?
okay. I mean, so first off, Germany is in a very lucky position to have the Wohlfahrtsverbände, like these strong social organizations. I mean, and it's an advanced country in terms of having a strong social net compared to a lot of countries. I mean, one of the reasons the US has such a strong social enterprise economy is because they don't have this, you know, and so they have to kind of build it. But then, you know, I mean, there are issues. I think of an organization, also Ashoka Fellows, called Irrsinnig Menschlich, based in Dresden, and they work to help students in, you know, in elementary and high schools to understand things about mental illness and depression and stuff like that. And if I look at where Germany is on that as kind of mental illness as a taboo issue compared to other countries, I think Germany's behind, and that's kind of an area where social enterprise can play a role. I mean, there are probably 3 or 4 other topics like that I can't think of offhand, but where, you know, where Germany could probably do some good work from the social enterprise side, where it is actually behind other countries.